Okay, so we are the team Pan-Galactic Gargle Blasters. Do not ask me. Sorry, that's a reference from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Apparently, it is the most potent cocktail in the galaxy, but do not ask me how to make one. I have no idea. But apparently, James, our good friend James Murphy, if the slide wants to work, there we go. He's had one, and he says that that's the reason why he's bald. It's so strong. So he has some experience in mechanical engineering, and I would just say he's just an all-around genius, truly. Then there's myself. I particularly am keen on UX, UI, and just being a people person. And Yemi, who is our Scrum Master, backend guru. And then finally, I could not help but mention the man, the legend, Al Del Deegan as our facilitator. So our problem that we saw was that a lot of organizations often lack a good way to actually share diverse types of information and to categorize it and organize it effectively. So examples of diverse information would be things like instructions, tutorials, helpful videos, handy tips, yeah, all that kind of stuff. And so with platforms sharing, when they try to share diverse information, a lot of the times they have a big drawback because information is so easily buried on top of each other that it can be very hard for the users to actually access that information. So you end up Googling it or asking someone, and you either waste someone else's time. I mean, everyone wants to help, I know, but it's still, you're spending time and potentially other people's time to try and find something when maybe it could have been done simpler. And the big issue with this is that people become discouraged to actually share information and to go looking for information, which everyone knows is a huge downfall. So our solution was actually quite simple. We, our project titled Project42, another reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. For those of you that don't get the reference, the number 42 is the answer to everything in life. So we feel that our project will answer all of your questions. That's how confident we are. But our solution was to create a two and a half dimensional space or mind map as an approach to organize the information that an organization would like to share. We wanted to also add a rich text editor that can support diverse types of media. So not just text, but code, videos, links, audio, all that stuff. And we'll show you that in a minute. And then finally, we wanted to leverage a trust model, primarily because even EvolveU is the example, something like Basecamp. The trust model, actually, and also with a lot of different tech companies too, the trust model is something that allows people to easily communicate without so much red tape around how they can connect and share information. So the technologies that we used, the basic MERN stack that you've been seeing all day today. So MongoDB, Express, and Node.js on the back end, React on the front end. We use Tailwind CSS for some styling, actually majority of the styling, and then React libraries for the functionality of the interface, which I am now going to turn over to James, and he will show you that demo right now.
Yeah, hi. Okay. So this is the landing page for our app, Project42. Here's that quote from Hitchhikers, some brief instructions, and then we've implemented a lightweight password system. It's currently just a common password for everyone. And so as soon as you enter that, then you're free to explore the app. And so this is the mind map space, the 2 dimensions, and then the 3rd dimension is the zooming in. So if you put yourself in the shoes of somebody who's searching for some help or guidance on a topic, let's say it's React, so that's front end. It's very clear where you go. You just zoom straight in using your mouse at scroll wheel, and then you can click and drag to move to pan around in this space. And one thing that we like about this approach, this kind of planar approach, is that you don't need to have like strict categorization between topics. Something can be a bit, but you could have a posting it's about React, but React's built on JavaScript, so there may be a posting right in the middle here. Anyway, so you can narrow in on the subtopics and then even subtopics until you get down to the level of the individual posts. And so for each post, we have a so-called stub, which is like a succinct summary of the post, a bit of the title, the authors, and then the main format that it is. Like these are both text-based posts, and then how spicy it is. So, and then if you click on it, you bring up the post. So this is one I put in, and so you've got fields. These are directly editable. Pull down menus for choosing the material type, and then this is the rich text editor here, and you can go full screen with it. I haven't done much editing on this one, but you get a sense of this is where the information will be, and then we also put in some navigation aids. For example, if you've zoomed all the way in, then you can hit the reset button and it will take you all the way back out, so you never get lost. And we also have some search capability. So, if you're interested in, say, UI, UX, maybe you'll put in UI as a tag, and you can search for that, and then it will just show you those posts that have that tag. Okay. And then one last navigation aid is if your mouse is kind of slow, you can speed up the rate of zoom, or if it's too sensitive, you can slow it down. Okay, and I'll now hand it over to my colleague Yemi.
Thanks, James. Good morning, everyone. My name is Yemi, and I will be speaking to us about how we create, read, and update posts on the app. Excuse me. So if you want to create a post on the app, you can either click on Create Post over here, or you can hold the Shift button down and you click on the backdrop, and the model opens. I'm going to speak to the fields very quickly. You have to put in the title of the post, your name, the tags, which is useful for the search, and what the post helps your readers accomplish. So I'm going to do that real quick over here. I'm interested in hosting, so I'm going to paste some content real quick. That's my title. Tags. Description. Not to forget my name. And then primary content type here is a video. So you can choose the type of content you want to put in there. It's a video. I think it's medium level of spiciness, which speaks to complexity. So I click on there. I click on here. Here's the video icon. Click on that. Put in the URL. And I submit. Once I do that, the video shows up. The cool thing is that you can resize the video to fit the screen, and you save your changes, and it's right there. So here is a post I just created. Like James showed us, you can literally zoom in. That's it. And I can place it where exactly I want it to be. So I want to put it very close to hosting because that's what it speaks to. So I'm going to do that. So now I'm going to switch from one creating a post to one reading or editing a post. And the way that works is I click on a post. Let's assume I'm the very famous John Doe who contributes everywhere, and I just wanted to add some content here. So I could just click on it and give a bit of description. So for instance, telling folks that this is very specific to hosting a Node.js app, and I can, save the changes. If I go back into the app, you can see the addition and you can see John Doe. At this point, I'm going to hand over to Colin to speak to maintenance and what we would have done if we had more time. Colin, over to you.
And as Colin fires up, you'll notice that hosting is in the cloud right there.
Thanks, James. And thank you, Yemi. That was awesome. So there were some features that we weren't going to demo just because, well, the first one is post lockouts. So we actually lock out a post in case when someone begins editing it so that another user can't come in and try and edit the same post at the same time, because you would run into some pretty serious errors there. So that's a feature that we didn't demo, but is currently working. And another one is the admin buttons. So for any organization, obviously they're going to want to have some control over this. Features of that would be admin can archive or bring back a post from the archive in case someone accidentally archived a post. And then they can also unlock all posts in case a post has accidentally been locked for longer than it should be. The reason we didn't show you that is because it's the equivalent of a janitor's closet right now. So it's not as flashy and fancy. But with more time, if we had more time, there are a few things that we would want to implement. Number one would be user authentication. You guys may be wondering, why didn't you use that to begin with? We intentionally did that because it's easier not to. And if it's within an organization, generally there's enough trust to go around where you don't have to have user authentication. But we can also see the value that it would pose if we did. And so that's why we would like to implement it in the future. Undo feature. So you may have considered the case where a user may edit something where the author did not want them to edit that. And so if we had an undo feature, we would be able to revert to a previous state of the post. And finally, hosting. We would love to host this so that it's easily accessible for our users. We just have not had the time to do so yet. And so that, my friends, is Project 42. Back to you in the booth, Jen.
Thank you. Well done, everyone. If you have your video on, do something visual, like move your body here, like a clap or like a little shaky. That's always good for the spine. Well done, team. Remind me again. Oh, Al was working with your team, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Al, just wondering if you want to share any thoughts before we make the transition.
Yeah, I got to hand it to these guys. When they first came up with the idea and they were telling me about it, I was actually rolling my eyes thinking, you guys are diving into something that you are not going to enjoy. As soon as you get into scrolling and zooming and trying to, I mean, I couldn't even see at the time how this was going to be usable. And then they just blew my socks off. They just owned it, and they were determined, and they did it. And I actually love it. I think I agree with all the comments in the chat right now. What a great way to look at information, and it's just a genius idea. And I'm very, very proud of this team.